15 indictments, which could theoretically lead to many, many years in prison. And it has the effect of freezing Donald Trump's potential pardon of Paul Manafort. It has the effect of saying to Paul Manafort, hey, you know that whole thing where you were lying to us when you had made an agreement to tell us the truth, and you were feeding information to the Trump administration, and you want to stay out of jail? Well, we got some bad news for you. Donald Trump is not in a position to save you from jail time at this point, or theoretically. And it sends a message to who knows who else they might be sort of holding back from either the Southern District of New York or the Mueller investigation or any of the other parallel investigations with the hopes of a pardon from Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not having a very good week, is he?
He certainly isn't. And I think what you just said, the last part is very important, which is you said, it sends a message. Ask yourself, who is the person or what organization is most exposed to charges from New York State and the city of Manhattan besides Paul Manafort? And I have to say, it's Donald Trump and the Trump Organization. And we know that the Southern District is looking very hard at the Trump Organization right now. They're looking at the inauguration. There's also all this, we don't know for sure, of course. We haven't seen a lot of details come out. But it's pretty clear that they are looking at the Trump Organization now. And, Trump, he's got people like Alan Weisselberg. There's all these people who are going to be called before Congress. We heard all these names. What's the guy's name? Matt Calamari. All these Trump Organization people. And essentially what's being said there, too, by the Manhattan DA, and I'm sure by Tris James, the New York State AG, is, Trump can pardon you on these federal charges, but don't kid yourself. When it comes to all this stuff like tax evasion and money laundering and fraud, insurance fraud, and all the rest of these things, there are a ton of state charges that can pile up on all that stuff. And by the way, the legislature in New York has, decided to take another look at their double jeopardy law, which, by the way, it's there, but it's kind of easily circumvented when you have this massive amount of criminality going on. There's almost always a way for the state and the city to find other avenues they can use the information that they have from these other cases to build cases, on charges that aren't directly relating to that. So it's even with the double jeopardy law, and there's still great danger for any of these people if they're pardoned by Trump on federal charges. And it looks like the state is actually looking at getting rid of them, getting rid of this double jeopardy law. So, this is very, very dangerous moment for Donald Trump, because today what was shown is, on Wednesday it was shown that they had, that the state of New York and that other portions of the law enforcement community were looking at all of these crimes, and were there prepared to serve as a backstop in case he decides to abuse his power to pardon. And by the way, just one more thing on this pardon thing, the Attorney General of the United States, William Barr, when he was, we know that he has a grave he has grave concerns about the idea that the president is obstructing justice by trying to interfere with the Justice Department investigations. It seems weird to me, but that does seem to be his position. He's one of those people who's very into the unlimited presidential power. But they asked him specifically about pardons in his testimony, and they said if it were shown that someone offered a pardon in exchange for testimony of some sort, would you consider that to be within the presidential purview? And he said, no, that would be a crime. Now, whether or not you can prove that Trump and his henchmen directly did that is difficult. Because as Michael Cohen said, they speak in code. But nonetheless, this is how mob cases are put together, where they are able to prove the mob boss did, or not prove, depending on what's there. So, even on that level, there are limits, even for William Barr, about dangling pardons. And to me, it seems obvious. If you look at Trump's tweets and comments over the past 2 years, he has been out there dangling pardons freely. Basically,
Sure.
Saying it. I mean, there's just no other way to interpret what he's saying. So, we'll have to see where this goes. But this pardon issue is for real.
I think it's huge. I think it's huge.
Yeah.
And the real question to me is, to what extent did the Trump defense team, what awareness did they have that there could be parallel charges against Manafort, and what do they do next, right? I mean, it's I think I said earlier 15 counts. I think it's 16 counts of everything from mortgage fraud, conspiracy, falsifying business records, scheme to defraud. There's a whole host of different charges in there. I'm not clear what the minimums would be for those charges, but surely, he's looking at a significant amount of time, certainly the potential for as much as he's already going to be serving. So we will have to wait and see what happens. But Digby, we got to take a quick break. Can you join me in the next hour? We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Sam Seder, Ring of Fire Radio.